There's more. He did more. Oh, this is an ECW. This is after there. Jack had a warrant. He got in some trouble in a few places there and couldn't come to some of the towns, because they had warrants for him. And back then, and they wouldn't mess with you if you wasn't in the county, but at ECW, in 97 or 98, we had like, the Dudleys, FBI, me and Guido, Balls and Axel, and the gangsters in, Mustafa had already left and moved out west, and they put, John Cronus, God rest his soul, with New Jack, as the gangsters. Or they call them, what do you call them, Eliminator gangsters or something? I don't know.
They call them the Gangstanators.
Yeah, that's it.
Like
that's
that.
it. All right. I believe that's it. Just what you said. Well, I guess Tim was a bondsman, and that is his job. Horner, he had, of course, already left. It was 97, 98, big show in Pittsburgh, and they had the belts on Guido and I, and they were keeping the belts on us, but we'd always taken, we'd always taken ass whooping. You know what I mean? And that was the gimmick. These guys, bounty hunters, there's 3 guys come up to get Jack off of that warrant. Okay, well, this is no lie. We were at the show in Monaca, right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Big Dome, and they had like the biggest crowd, one of the biggest crowds they had like 5,000 people there. I think it was the night Shane either worked with Bam Bam Bigelow, I believe it was Bam Bam, took the belt off of Bam Bam, or Raven, but no, it wasn't Raven, it was Bam Bam. That was the main event. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they had like a 5-person tag team. Well, the bounty hunters come up to get New Jack and to take him in. And Paul says, look, guys, he says, we put a lot into this pay-per-view, the same thing. He said, can you arrest him after, let him work, let him do his job, and then whatever y'all got to do, take him back to Tennessee. That's where they were going to take him, extradite him back to Tennessee. And it was 3 guys, and they were badass guys, they didn't mess around. And they were from, of course, Knoxville area. And I believe it was Boystown, Tennessee is where he had the warrant. Now, Tim lived there. He was a bondsman. I mean, he had to do his job. They knew Tim was a wrestler. Tim didn't want to, you know what I mean? He didn't want to pop him, in that dude. But, they were coming down on him because he hadn't already done it. And something like Tim wasn't with them, but they came through his bonding company, something like that. And them guys were serious, man. I remember they standing around. They didn't talk to nobody. They didn't talk to none of us. We didn't talk to them either. And well, during the match, you knew some way that New Jack was going to get out of there. Okay, you knew that. You just knew that, right? And he didn't know how. He didn't ask. He didn't do nothing. Well, the story, and I can remember, you knew that New Jack was going to be gone. He thanked us, everybody, before we went in the ring and all that. And dude, he said, "I'll see y'all down the road a little bit, whatever." And the whole 9 yards. Well, Bubba and Devon, he worked with them a lot, during that time. And they did some kind of spot where they fought outside, and they had a van waiting up for New Jack. And they fought outside and went out the door and had the van pulled right up to the door. And they went outside and did that. And Bubba and Devon come back in, and we were all fighting all over the arena and everything, and I didn't know exactly how they were going to get him out of there. But anyway, the van pulls, he's sitting there waiting. They fly outside. New Jack gets in the van, goes down in the floorboard. They get him out of there. Got him and took him I think they took him to the airport, and he might have flew out that night, or however he got home, he went home. And I can't remember where Jack, I think Jack was living in Philly then. I think somebody got him, drove him from Pittsburgh to Philly. He would tell you better than me. And everything. But yeah, man. Yeah. 1997, 98. It wasn't in Smoky Mountain. That was Smoky Mountain was done, but it was off of there. Yeah.
They called the spot where he worked to the outside so he could leave. That's good.
Bought outside, went out the side door there and at the back part of the arena and just everybody, 8-10 guys all going, and there and just they whatever did. And it was real brief. And I looked up and I seen them go outside. And then, Jack fighting both of them in Cronus, you know what I mean? And they all 4 went outside, and I didn't really hit me. And then the only ones come back in was, Devon and Bubba and Cronus. And Jack wasn't with them. I didn't say that about it. I said, "Where's Jack?" They said, "Oh, that was a spot there. We had that with him. We kayfabed everybody." You know what I mean? I think only Bubba, Devon, and of course Jack and Cronus. I don't even know if Cronus knew, but Paul E, and Tommy Dreamer. You know what I mean? But Paul did the speech before we, I always called it Paul's State of the Union speech, and I did it before there, and he said, "Here we have convicted felons, we have this, we have that, and that to do, but we can get through this, and, this, we got a lot riding on it." And he told them, he says, "This is going to hurt our business bad if you don't let him do this." And, boy, them guys were mad. And, of course, everybody played like we didn't know nothing about it. Didn't know how he got out of there, nothing, played dumb. Like, where is he? Where is New Jack? Everybody was doing that because, you didn't want to see him get him. The boys stick together. You know what I mean? Even if they didn't like each other, they stick together. Yeah. And, I can remember, New Jack and, Pitbull Anthony, big bald head. He's dead now. God rest his soul. Tough guy. Both of them, of course, crazy. And I can remember it was in, this isn't about Smoky Mountain, but this was in, Queens, New York, and they had some heat over something. I don't know, the pit bulls that got popped on something drug related, and they were just working out in the ring, like as trainers kind of, and helping. They couldn't let them wrestle for some reason. I don't know, but there's a lot of heat built up with him and New Jack, and I can remember them getting into a fight in the dressing room, and I was wore out, tired, been working a lot, working for them in other places. I just fought traffic from Newark to the Elks Lodge there, and God, 15 miles took like 4 hours, and they started playing that, and I just said, I'm too tired to help break them up. And finally, Bubba and Devon were trying to, of course, Dreamer, and then everybody did, and they tried to kill each other, man. They tried to, because you could see they were both going for each other's eyeballs and just everything they could do. Well, the next night in the arena, that was on a Friday night, somebody sucker punched Mikey Whipwreck. Remember him?
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
well, the first two that hit the ring and fighting side by side and hitting people who look like fucking rock'em sock'em robots was New Jack and Anthony right beside each other, just beating that. And I stand up on the gimmick table. I said, "Look at that, Tommy." To Tommy Rich, I said, "Look, them two motherfuckers right there. Tried to kill each other last night. Now they're fighting right side by side. Like they're brothers." And they did, watched each other's back, and they beat the hell out of some guys, man. And afterwards, they were back in the back, drinking beer and hanging out and whatever else they do, you know what I mean? And just crying, laughing, and thanking each other. Go, "I'm sorry, I love you, man," and everything else. And me and Tommy went up and said, "You two motherfuckers tried to kill each other, took the whole dressing room to split you up, and now look at you. Now you're in love, about to get married." But that's the old saying, because that's the way even your worst enemy, if you needed help, would be there. And guys that you thought you were real cool with, not as cool as you thought when you needed help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were pulling New Jack and Anthony off all those guys. They about killed them, man. It looked like rock'em sock'em robots is what it looked like. They were just making a pass, just beating the hell out of it, just wailing, kicking, headbutting people, everything.